Hello, on behalf of the Financial Aid Office, I would like to welcome you to Western Piedmont Community College. During this session, we'll talk about how to apply for financial aid, how financial aid works, and discuss how academic performance can impact your eligibility to continue to receive aid. First and foremost, I want to let you know that the Financial Aid Office is located with Student Services over in Hildebrand Hall, and financial aid counselors are available Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. and on Tuesday evenings, someone's available until 7 p.m. Now, the application process involves completing the free application for federal student aid, often referred to as the FAFSA. This application must be completed every year at the Department of Education's website, www.fafsa.gov. Now, each college or university sets their own priority deadline for completing the FAFSA each year. At Western Piedmont, our priority deadline is June 1st. This allows our financial aid office the time to process and award a student prior to the payment deadline for the fall term. Now, we will still process a FAFSA application for any student at any point during the academic year, and once that file is completed, we'll award the student any aid they're entitled to receive at any point during the academic year. But in order to ensure that you meet the payment deadline for the fall term, we highly recommend that you complete your FAFSA prior to June 1st each year. Now, when you apply for an academic year at Western Piedmont Community College, our year begins with the fall term, includes the following spring and summer terms. The Western Piedmont Financial Aid Office provides a video tutorial and additional information on completing the FAFSA application from the financial aid webpage at Western Piedmont's website. When you log on to Western Piedmont's main webpage, you'll notice that there is a blue bar at the top that contains some hot links, and one of the hot links is the financial aid link. When you open the financial aid page, you'll land on our home page and you'll see a menu bar to the left. The third item in that menu bar is the Apply for Financial Aid link. When you select that third item there, it'll open to the page where we have our video tutorial and additional information on the FAFSA process. Additionally, we offer information on child care assistance, the Federal Work Study Program, scholarships, Veterans Affairs, and more importantly, financial aid policies and procedures, all from this web page. Generally, most of your questions can be answered by consulting one of the links here available to you. However, if you find something that you need more information, please consult with a financial aid counselor. We're always happy to help you. Now, once the college receives your FAFSA information from the Department of Education, sometimes they select students for a process that's called verification. That means that the Department of Education is asking the college to verify the information that you entered on your FAFSA. And if you're selected for verification, Western Piedmont's Financial Aid Office is going to ask you for additional documentation through a paper letter and through your official Western Piedmont email account. Students can also view additional items needed by logging into their Pioneer Pass account and selecting the financial aid checklist. Now, your student email notice and the financial aid checklist will contain hot links to any forms that we need you to complete. When we mail you, a paper mailing will include paper copies of any forms that we need you to complete. It's critical that you understand that if you are selected for verification, that you return all of the requested documentation as quickly as possible to the Financial Aid Office. Aid cannot be awarded to you until all requested documentation has been received. Now, community colleges in North Carolina use the results of your FAFSA information to determine not only your eligibility for the federal Pell Grant, but for any North Carolina grants, which include the North Carolina Community College Grant and the North Carolina Education Lottery Scholarship. This is all an automatic process. There's no additional application that you need to complete. When you receive your award letter from Western Piedmont, we've already considered your eligibility for North Carolina grants. Now, additional information you need to know about the federal Pell Grant program is that there is a lifetime limit to how much you can receive. The maximum amount a student can receive in their lifetime is the equivalent of 6 years of full-time awards. Whenever you submit a FAFSA each year, the Department of Education will provide you feedback on how much of that maximum limit you've used. You can also consult with a financial aid counselor. We'll be happy to help you log into the National Student Loan Database, where you have access to your financial aid history, and we can help you determine how much you've used and how much you have left. Another important criteria for the federal Pell Grant that you need to be aware of is that it was designed to help students complete their first bachelor's degree. So once a student earns and graduates from a bachelor's program, you're no longer eligible to receive any more Pell Grant funds, whether you received your lifetime limit or not. Students who need additional resources to help with education expenses are highly encouraged to apply for scholarships. Western Piedmont Scholarship link contains a listing of Western Piedmont Foundation scholarships, as well as information on outside scholarships from various agencies and organizations. Typically, the scholarship application window is open from February through June of each year. Western Piedmont no longer participates in the federal student loan program, so students who need to borrow to help meet education expenses do have the option to pursue an alternative or private loan with a lender or bank of their own choosing. Additional information about that process can be found on the financial aid webpage by selecting the loan link from the menu. Now, at Western Piedmont, students are notified of financial aid awards through their official Western Piedmont email account only. The email notification will let you know that you've been awarded and will give you directions to log into Pioneer Pass, where you'll actually view the award letter there. The monetary amounts that you view on your award letter are always calculated assuming that you will be enrolled full-time, and the funds are going to be equally split between the fall and spring semester. Now, full-time status is always 12 semester hours or more, even if it's the fall, spring, or summer terms. In general, students enrolled full-time, 12 semester hours or more, are entitled to receive the full or total amount of financial aid that they see listed on their award letter. There is one exception, and that's with the North Carolina Community College Grant. Students must be enrolled at least 15 semester hours or more to receive the full amount of the NCCCG award on their award letter. Otherwise, it'll be prorated or reduced based on the number of credit hours the students actually enrolled in. Students can also receive financial aid if they're not enrolled full-time. Award amounts are always calculated on the number of credit hours that you actually register for. So someone who enrolls in 9, 10, or 11 semester hours is considered to be three-quarter time and will typically receive about 75% of the award that's listed on their award letter. Students who enroll in 6, 7, or 8 credits for a term are considered to be half-time students and will typically get about 50% of the award. Those students who register for less than 6 semester hours will be awarded at the less than half-time rate. We recommend that you always meet with a counselor to discuss your individual situation, and we can help you determine exactly how much aid is going to be available to you if you're not enrolled full-time. Now, how financial aid works. If you are awarded prior to the day that tuition and fees are due for the term, any financial aid that's been posted to your account will automatically be used to cover tuition and fee charges. You will also be able to charge books and supply expenses against the aid on your account. You will need to print off a hard copy of your schedule and take a photo ID with you to the bookstore, and they will allow you to charge against any aid that's on your student account. Any financial aid balance left after all tuition and fees and bookstore charges have been deducted will be refunded to you by check and mailed to you at the student address listed with the records office. It's really important that you update your contact information anytime you change your address, move, or change your phone number. The financial aid refund and disbursement dates will always be listed on the financial aid main webpage. It's also important to keep in mind that financial aid award amounts are calculated using only those semester hours that are needed and required to complete your program of study in the corresponding catalog year of entry. It is ultimately the student's responsibility to make sure that they enroll in only the courses that are required and needed to complete their degree. Students can check this each semester when they meet with their academic advisor, but more importantly, students have the option to run a program evaluation check sheet in their Pioneer Pass account to keep track of what they still need to take to complete their degree. After the registration and add-drop periods end for each semester, the Financial Aid Office will evaluate each student's actual enrollment status using their current program of study and catalog year and adjust or reduce aid accordingly. If you should enroll in a course that is not needed to complete your degree, the Financial Aid Office is required to prorate or reduce your aid accordingly. If aid is reduced to the point that it does not fully cover the balance on your account, you will be billed by Western Piedmont's business office. So for example, a student is awarded the amount of $2,888 for the fall term based on full-time enrollment. The student meets with their advisor, enrolls in 12 semester hours, but unfortunately 3 of those credits is for a course that's not needed or required in the program of study. The Financial Aid Office can only count 9 semester hours in determining the award amount, and as such, this student's aid will be reduced to 3/4, or about 75% of the amount they see listed on their award letter, which in this case would be $2,165. Now, provided that that reduced amount is enough, the student can still use that reduced amount to cover all of the tuition and fee and book expenses for the 12 semester hours they registered for. They're just going to get less of a refund. Now this goes without saying, students must be actively attending courses to actually receive financial aid. Aid cannot be transmitted to cover expenses if you do not attend the courses you have registered for. Official course withdrawals must be completed with the registrar's office during the official add-drop period to avoid tuition and fee charges that are the responsibility of the student. Students who withdraw from a course after the start of the term or no-show a course are responsible for any tuition and fee charges on their student accounts. Students who register for a late start, B-term course, or a DMA or DRE course, or a PE class that has an unusual enrollment period, will have a portion of their financial aid withheld until the course actually starts. Please see a financial aid counselor to discuss how late start courses impact your financial aid award disbursements. Course substitutions. Students wishing to substitute a class for a course required in their current program of study must petition for approval prior to enrolling in the class. Only those courses approved by petition can be substituted and used in the financial aid award amount calculation. Students who withdraw from all courses in a semester prior to the 60% point will have their aid eligibility recalculated, and the college is required to return funds to the Department of Education. Western Piedmont will then bill the student for the aid that must be returned. Additionally, a hold is going to be placed on the student's record, which will prevent the student from registering in the future and from obtaining official transcripts until the debt is paid in full. Now, if the student can stay enrolled in at least one course through the 60% point, no adjustment will be necessary, and they will not owe financial aid back to the college. The student must have at least one documented day in attendance after the 60% point of the term for this to be effective. Now, how do you keep your aid eligibility? Satisfactory academic progress, or SAP. Each university or college is required to monitor every single student for their SAP status at the end of every term. So once final grades are posted, the Financial Aid Office is going to go in and evaluate every student on 3 measures: their completion rate, their GPA, and their maximum time frame. Now, the completion rate is calculated using the total attempted credits compared to the number of credits that you've completed with a grade of C or better. Students must complete at least 67% of all courses attempted to maintain SAP. GPA, once a student has attempted 30 semester hours of credit, they must maintain a 2.0 GPA to maintain SAP. Maximum time frame. The federal government allows a student to receive aid for 150% of the semester hours that are required to complete their degree. So, for example, if a student is in a program of study that requires a total of 60 credit hours to complete the degree, 150% of 60 would be 90. That means a student could attempt up to 90 semester hours before losing their eligibility for aid. Once that student took the 90th or attempted the 90th hour, they're no longer eligible for aid until the degree is completed and they graduate. Once the student graduates, their eligibility for aid rolls over and they could start another program if they so chose. Now, students who do not meet one or more of the 3 SAP standards will be placed on warning status, which will be effective during the next term that they actually enroll. While on warning, the student can still receive financial aid. However, if that SAP status is not corrected, by the end of that warning term, the student will be suspended for financial aid purposes. Now, SAP statuses are calculated by each college based on the semester hours the student takes at that particular institution. So SAP doesn't transfer from one school to the next. So if a student is suspended at Western Piedmont for SAP purposes, it only affects financial aid eligibility at Western Piedmont. The student can still receive aid at another college. That college is going to be calculating their eligibility based on the courses that the student takes at that institution only. Now, if a student is suspended, they have the right to appeal their status. Appeal forms are available in the financial aid office. It contains a section that the student must have their academic advisor complete. The student is responsible for submitting the completed appeal form along with the required supporting documentation directly to the financial aid office. Appeals submitted without the required documentation cannot be reviewed. Now, our mission here in the financial aid office is to ensure that you receive the financial assistance that you are entitled to receive. So if you need to drop or withdraw from a course or want to change your program of study or need to substitute a class, please see a financial aid counselor so that we can help you and make sure that you are making an informed decision. Now, I want to talk a little bit about how you view financial aid information through your Pioneer Pass account. If you log on to Western Piedmont's web main page, that blue bar at the top contains those hot links, and one of those is for Pioneer Pass. When you select that hot link, the next page is a pre-login screen. You'll notice that to the left there is some information about using Pioneer Pass and Password Master and your email account. If you don't know your user ID and your password or have questions about how any of these portals work, you want to consult the directions that are listed here. If you know your user ID and password, you go ahead and click the Students tab over here to the right. The next page opens up. You'll click the Login tab either at the bottom or the top of the screen. You'll enter your user ID and password over here to the left, and then you'll click the Submit button. And then you are actually logged into Pioneer Pass or Web Advisor, the student menu. There's a lot of information here for you to look at, grades, program evaluation, class schedule, but most importantly to our discussion is the financial aid section that's over to the left. You'll see the financial aid checklist link. When you select that link, that'll log you into your financial aid self-service platform. The first thing that opens up is your home page, and if you look to the top there where it says Financial Aid Counseling, there's a little drop-down menu where you'll be able to select the various options that are available to you through this platform. Will first open up to your home page, and on your home page it will show a list of items that you need to complete, and if there's action required, it'll tell you if action's required. In this particular student's case, they've completed all of the items, and their action is to review and sign their award letter. If you were to click on the required document tab, it would show you the items that we had asked you to provide, and if we've received them, it'll indicate the date that we received them. It'll be highlighted in green. If we were still needing something from you, it would be highlighted in yellow, and it would still say action needed. When you select the award letter tab, you'll select the appropriate year. There's additional information. Some of it we've gone over today, but you do need to read your award letter thoroughly. When you get to the bottom of your award letter, you'll notice there's a light blue bar with a little checkbox. We ask that you verify, accept your award package, and electronically sign by clicking that box and then selecting that Accept tab over to the right. Now, you also have the ability to look at your Satisfactory Academic Progress, or SAP status. That's one of the tabs is just for that information. When you open up that tab, it will list the evaluation period that was last used, what program you were evaluated on, and it will indicate what your SAP status is. To the right, you will see the statistics that were used. It will calculate your maximum time frame based on the credits in the program that's listed. Will indicate how many course credit hours you've completed, what your GPA is. You can view all of that information at this one page. You'll notice over here to the left there's a little drop-down arrow. When you click on that arrow, that will open up with additional detailed information that explains what your Satisfactory Academic Progress status means. I want to remind you all again that the Financial Aid Office is here to assist you with any of your questions. Counselors are available Monday through Friday from 8 to 5 p.m. and on Tuesdays we're here to 7 p.m. Please see us if you have any questions. No appointment is necessary. And again, on behalf of the Financial Aid Office, I just want to welcome you to Western Piedmont, and good luck.